So we had the blue pine tongue and groove on the ceiling, and we didn't like it because it was too dark and we needed something to put on the roof. So we swapped it, put the blue pine up on the roof like you're going to see in this video. The blue pine goes to the roof, and we just used some plywood in here and painted it white. Gives it a much cleaner, much brighter look. Now the blue pine is really nice. That blue pine tongue and groove goes together really well. I just used some bats in the roof. I glued and screwed those roof bats right to the framing of the van, and then I was able to screw the blue pine right into those with some wood screws. Real easy. And luckily I did not use wood glue, otherwise it would have been impossible to do this project. And you'll see at the end of the video that the roof deck worked out pretty well to store the roam box and the kayak and everything else that we needed. So I tried all the screws that I had, and I was told by another guy who put a deck on his roof with the same roof rack that he just used deck screws. So I had a bunch of deck screws. I tried them. I had some self tappers, which were not quite big enough, and they didn't seem to be long enough. None of that stuff worked. So I got some number 14 self tappers from Elko Tool Fastener. They worked great. They leave a little bit of a head on top of the deck, of course, but that way you know exactly where the roof rack's at. You got a good footing to step on, good support underneath you. I think in the long run I'd like to add a couple more roof rails underneath that decking. Might redo the decking again. You know, once we do one thing, we seem to do it again later and make it better. But I like the decking so far. Those lags worked really good. Nothing else seemed to work right. Where that goes. All the other shit was too small, too slim, too trim, bunch of bullshit. To cut some of this deck out in order to get the kayak up there. I would have rather preferred more real estate on the roof, but in order to keep the kayak up there in place, I had to move some of the decking boards in order to get to the roof rails and mount the kayak support. So I guess it works either way, because if the kayak's up there, you can't use the real estate, so the loss of decking wasn't really a big issue, and that kayak's going to live there year round. So it had to go somewhere, and I guess that was the best place to put it. That's how you can take blue pine from your ceiling, put it on your roof, give you a little bit of real estate to mount boxes, get some storage, or if you just want to go hang out up there, watch the stars, or head up there in the morning to drink some coffee and put in an entry for the journal. It's not a bad spot to hang out. So I got to make a run to Kansas and back, and then we're going to try to go to the balloon festival in Spring Creek. Bango burrito should be at the balloon festival Saturday morning, bright and early, as long as I make it back in time. If not, it'll be Bango iced coffee. Arianne will be slinging chicory coffee and hot coffees and pastries, but if I can make it back in time, I'll whip you guys up a burrito. So if I don't see you until then, we'll see you down the road. Now all I gotta do is go ask Arianne if she'll put all the shit back in the box, because it's empty and it must be filled.